What is up, everybody? It's John with John Sports Cards and Collectibles coming at you with a brand new video. How's everyone doing out there today in the YouTube universe? It is time for another comic book video. I haven't done one in a few months. And I wanted to share some pickups that I've made over the last few months. So I've got a total of 12 books here, and we're going to talk about just the general stuff of each book, who the cover artists are, any specific interesting items of note for each issue here, if there's any keys, and then the actual raw values of these based on my assessment of what these grades should actually be. So we're going to try something a little bit different today, and hopefully it'll be a good piece of information for you guys out there who are interested in comic books or interested in anything when it comes to, I don't want to use the word investing, but picking up some good deals out there. Out in the wild. I mean, I've kind of moved away from buying like modern sports cards. I did have a video recently where I found some packs at a local Target. And I have, recently opened up over the last, 2-3 weeks, the Top Series 2 release. But in general, if you watch this channel on a frequent basis, you notice that I just do not buy modern product anymore as far as sports cards go. And the main reason is that not only are they making so many, I mean, we're in obviously a new version of the junk wax era now in 2026, and it's been going on for some time now. But I mean, there's really no value in the modern sports cards unless you're talking about higher tiered products. But then it's a crapshoot. It's a gamble. So I've kind of, shifted my interest here, and I've done comic book videos before, and I love to go hunt these kind of, for these kind of books, because for me it's fun. There's a nostalgia factor. There's the, element of memories as a child of some of these releases, and some of these releases were out before I was born, or I was too young to even have comic books on my radar. Same goes for sports cards. But I look at these kind of pickups as things that I will keep in my collection, things that maybe over time can maybe appreciate. There's no guarantee with it, with any of this stuff. And, in the sports car world, I mean, obviously you want to stick with vintage. Vintage is the way to go, especially if you can find any sort of sports cars, whatever the sport may be, in good condition. That's just a very general thing that if you're collecting, you should know this. And if you're new, maybe you can learn something about at least comic books and, the way that I look at things now too. Okay, so we've got 3 books here in front of us. We've got a total of 12, so we'll do 3 at a time. And we're just going to talk about each one. So we got on the left-hand side here, Iron Man, Invincible Iron Man, issue number 78. You've got Star Hunters in the middle. That's a DC release. And then you've got a Marvel team-up featuring Spider-Man and Iron Man, issue number 49. The Star Hunters is actually issue number 1. Now, this book is a replacement copy. I don't think I picked this up before. If I did, now I have 2 replacement copies. I have to go through the collection. But as a youngster, I cut out pieces, whatever's inside this cover here. And there are like some missing pieces of on the cover here. And I wanted to replace this book, and these were all $3 a piece. That's the other thing too. I definitely got back my value, if not higher, on this whole haul, if you want to call it that. So let's talk about this first one over here, this Iron Man issue number 78. You got a month and release year, September 1975. Gil Kane did the cover. It's not a key. The title is Long Time Gone, and essentially the story, focuses on Tony Stark and his involvement with the Vietnam War. It's an emotional story, and there you go with that one. Star Hunters, that's the middle book here. It's kind of considered a minor key. November 1977 was the release date on this, right before the implosion. Did the implosion happen then? I'm not sure if it happened after this. But there was a DC implosion. You guys can go look it up. But it's a minor key, and it was the first issue of the self-titled Star Hunters. It had debuted in DC Superstars, issue number 16, and the cover artist, Richard Buckler. And let's get into the last. Yeah, the implosion happened in 78 here. I'm looking at my notes. So this is a year prior to the implosion of DC. And this last one here, this Marvel team-up, September 1976. John Romita Sr. did the cover of it. It's not a key issue, but it is does feature major crossover here with Iron Man and Spider-Man. And he, I think, fights the Wraith. I think that's who the bad guy is in this one. Yeah, the Wraith. Brian DeWolf is the character's actual real name. But there you go with those 3 titles. Now, as far as pricing goes, this Iron Man, raw values. Now, I figured in looking at these books, just trying to figure out condition on my own, how I would do it if I was to send these in to CGC. I'm going to give you the raw value of what these really should be, in my opinion. I think this book probably falls probably around a 7. I don't think it'll get a 7.5, but it could. I have to press it out, and there is some issue down here with this corner in the page. But I think if I press it out a few different times, it might actually fix this down here. So we might be looking at maybe an 8. So if it's an 8, it's roughly worth about $16 raw on average, which is great. 7.5 is $14, and a 7 is 11. I don't think it's gonna be lower than a 7. Really nice clean cover, white pages. The back's pretty good. Just needs a minor cleaning. All these books just need minor cleaning. I don't think there's anything major that I can do with any of these. But there you go with the Iron Man. So not too bad of a find there for $3. This middle book, Star Hunters issue number 1. This, I would have to say, is probably a higher grade copy. Probably at least like an 8.5. Maybe you could get a squeeze out of 9. So you're looking at like a $13 to $14 value on this book. And then this last one over here, this Marvel Team Up. Get my notes on that one too, and then we'll go into the next 3. This one, again, there's a couple little spine ticks here, but overall, nice cover, nice white pages. The back's pretty clean, minimal cleaning. I'd say let's just be conservative here and say like a 7.5, maybe an 8 it could squeeze out. So you're looking at like $6 to $7, $8. But this is something that this stays in the collection. But there you go. So already I've come ahead since I'm only paying $3 a piece for these books, and let's get into the next 3 right now. Okay, let's get into the next 3. Some really nice ones, and if I didn't mention, these are all Bronze Age and a few silver. So they span a bunch of different years from the 70s down to the early 70s, and then a few late 60s books, I believe. And there's at least 1. All right, let's get into these next 3 here. So you've got Warlord of Mars, which is John Carter, Warlord of Mars, the king size annual, issue number 1. You have a really cool, I couldn't believe I found this, Battlestar Galactica, issue 1. And then you got Master of Kung Fu over here on the right-hand side, The Hands of Shang-Chi. I think this may be the first issue that I have of this release now in the collection. They had a bunch of them there, but I wasn't going to go nuts, and I liked this cover. Issue number 50, I like when there are issues 1, 10, 25, 50, things like that. To me, they're kind of milestone type issues. Unless, of course, it's a key issue or something important with another issue. But I like the 50 number, so that's why I picked this one up. Plus, the cover is pretty damn cool. All right, the John Carter, Warlord of Mars, King Size Annual. It came out in 1977. Got Gil Kane to the cover of that one right there. Pretty good shape, a higher grade, although there is an issue here with the way that the cover comes over. I don't know if they didn't cut it or if there's a slight roll happening or what's going on here. I don't know what I can do with this one, but it was just so damn cool, and it's like, okay, it's an annual, it's issue 1, you're gonna grab this. They're calling it a minor key. It's an adaptation of Edgar Rice Burroughs' Warlord of Mars, and Marv Wolfman did the writing, and there's a bunch of other big names on this one as well. The Battlestar Galactica, the one in the middle, Dave Cockrum and Bob McLeod did the cover artwork, March 1979. For this one here, it's considered a key, a Bronze Age sci-fi key. It's the first comic book appearances of Commander Adams, Starbuck, Apollo, Count Baltar, and the Cyclones. Pretty cool pickup. For $3, damn straight I'm grabbing that one. And Master of Kung Fu, issue number 50, March 1977. It was released in February 1977. Dave Cockrum did the cover art. It's considered a minor key because it's a milestone anniversary issue and has a crucial climax in the series narrative arc. Title of that story is The Dream Slayer. I'm not going to hit on every single title of each book. Just try to top line stuff with these releases. Okay, let's talk about numbers as far as pricing goes. This book over here, I imagine if I was to, to grade this out, let's just be conservative and call it like an 8, maybe an 8.5. So you're looking at like around a $5, value of that one there. The Battlestar Galactica. Let's get to that one here in my notes. A much higher grade copy, in my opinion. Probably, I bet you I could squeeze a 9 out of this one. So you're looking at probably like a $10 book. And in a 9.8 graded, it's worth about $180. A 9.8 raw is worth about $15. It seems kind of low, but still, regardless, an awesome one here. Now, this Warlord of Mars, this is like kind of a wild card. I'm not sure how I should grade this one out with this cover up here. That might bring it down. Let's just call it a 7 just to be nice, and it's worth about $3 to $4. So, kind of broke even on that one. Made a little bit on this one. Made a tiny bit on that one. So, I'm still ahead with this whole thing. Let's get into the next 3. Some really cool ones coming up. All right, we've got some cool ones up in front of us right now. I love Howard the Duck. You see him right there. That's issue number 3. On your left-hand side of your screen in the center, you got Avengers issue 140. And Atlas Comics makes an appearance here with issue number 1 of the Scorpion. And I'll tell you what, this is probably the cleanest copy that I've found of this particular issue, of this particular release. This has got to be one of the hardest covers, I think, to find, like, clean. I mean, there are definitely a few spine ticks here and here, and there's a little bit of rubbing right here, but what the hell are you going to do with this black all the way around it? But I felt like, my God, this is actually a really beautiful copy and should not have been in those boxes. But hey, these stores, so what happens is a lot of times, just so you know, they get a lot of inventory. They buy a lot of collections. They might get, who knows where they're getting these from. Let's not even speculate. But there's a lot of books. And, sometimes they just don't have enough time or manpower. And so they end up in these boxes and you have to dig. And I dig and my hands come out black and it's kind of gross. But for me, it's like I'm willing to take one for the team, so to speak, to get things like this. So let's talk about this. Howard the Duck, May 1976, issue number 7 here. Frank Brunner did the cover along with Steve Leila. I'm saying it wrong. I know I am. Sorry for all you purists out there. It's not a key, but it's, part of the classic Howard the Duck run. I don't have issue number 3. So now this will stay in my collection. And this is just awesome. Master of Quack Fu. Introduces the character Morva the Believer. All right, in the middle here, you got a minor key with Avengers number 140 from October 1975. Gil Kane did the cover art. It features the first full appearance of the second Yellow Jacket, Rita De Mara. Okay, that's good to know. And let's just move on to the next one here. The Scorpion. It's considered a key. The Atlas Comics release, the failed Atlas Comics. I've talked about them before. I have a fascination with Atlas Comics. I just really love, the whole story with them. They were trying to challenge Marvel, and they just couldn't do it. And they just ripped off, different Marvel-type characters. And it was a train wreck. But there's something just beautiful about it. And it just was super, super cool. All right, Howard Chaykin did the cover art. February 1975, the Scorpion number 1. Yes, it's considered a key because it features the first appearance and origin of the Scorpion, Moira Frost. Moira Frost. And again, Atlas Comics, what are you going to do? And it just didn't work for them. But I grab those books whenever I can. And there were other ones of a few other releases. I almost got them, but when you're working on a budget, you don't want to go crazy and buy, a bunch of stuff right now. I'm sure that these books will probably be back there the next time I go. If they're not, okay, so be it. Anyway, so there you go. These 3 right here. Let's give you some prices real quick. The Scorpion, I'd say this is probably going to, I don't know, with this here and this, let's just be nice and call it a 7. And you're looking at an $11 book, raw value at a 7. I think you could squeeze that out. I really do. Unless they're just brutal on the book. Not that I'm going to get any of these graded, but I'm just hypotheticals here. The Avengers 140, the minor key. This is definitely a higher grade book. Let's call this one. Let's call this one between 8.5 and a 9. $18 to $21 raw value for this book right here. That's not bad at all, I'd have to say. And the last one on your left, Howard the Duck, issue number 3, definitely a higher grade. Let's call this a 9 to 9.2. You're looking at a $14 book roughly in there. So not bad at all. Very cool pickups. And maybe this is a 9. A 9's $14. It has 9.2, $14. There might be something going on up here, regardless. These are my assessments. This isn't the gospel, but I'm kind of close to a lot of these things usually when I do them. All right, let's get into the last 3 books, and then we'll wrap this one up. The last 3 books, you got 2 Silver Age books and then a early Bronze Age book, in the middle here. All right, let's start out with the one on the left. Well, let's do the middle, and then we'll do the silvers to go wrap up things. Cull the Destroyer. Minor key. Why? Because it is the switch over of the title. Title change from Cull the Conqueror to Cull the Destroyer. That's really it. You've got Mike Plug did the cover work on this book. November 1973 was the month and publication day. Month and publication year. And written by Roy Thomas. And, Mike Plug did some really brilliant sword and sorcery artwork. And there you go with that one. They're trying to bank off the Conan the Barbarian crowd with Cull the Destroyer. All right, we've got on your left-hand side Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos. I have a bunch of Sergeant Fury books. I love picking them up when I can find ones in pretty decent shape. They're hard to find for cheap. Usually when they're in good shape, the shops grab them up, put them in the higher price bins, and it's just, to me, I'm like, all right, I'd rather dig and find, a gem hiding amongst the poop. So, all right, so you got the King Size Special issue number 5. This is a reprint issue, but it's in pretty damn good shape. The back is really clean. It's got white pages. It was actually in an Ides Entertainment bag and board with like a $6 price tag on it. So it was definitely an older price tag and an older bag, and must have been part of a collection somebody bought. And so I snatched it up because, they're pretty good with assessing things too over at Ides. That's not where I picked this up though. So it's a reprint issue with issues number 6 and 12 of Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos inside this issue here. August 1969. For that one there, John Severin did the cover artwork on this one. And then over here on this right-hand side, Adventure Comics issue 383. A pretty nice copy. For as old as it is, from August 1969 as well. Issue 383, not out key. Kurt Swan did the cover. Neil Adams also worked on it too. But it, I think with this Supergirl, is it a movie or a series coming out? I just keep seeing Supergirl popping up. I think that you might see a surge happening with this character here. And you've got the storyline of her death, basically. But, please stop my funeral. And it just, it was cool. I thought this was a nice pickup. Adventure Comics, not everybody likes Adventure Comics or Lois Lane or Jimmy Olsen. They had some kind of lame titles, DC. But I thought the cover was pretty damn awesome. And then I think, is that Jimmy Olsen right there? Is that Lois Lane right there? And there's Clark Kent right there. So that's kind of cool. There you go with that one. Adventure Comics 383. I figured I'd pick it up. It's tough to find decent condition Silver Age books in these kind of long boxes that I dig through. And there were some really cool titles. I mean, there was a Batman key from the mid 60s, early 60s in there, but I think I posted a picture of it on the community post page here on the channel, and someone had cut out the centerpiece of the cover. A kid, did that. I saw it. My heart was breaking. It just was so sad to see that. All right, let's get some prices going on here. Let's do the Cull the Destroyer. I think a higher grade copy probably. Let's just say, $7.5. It says like $6 to $8. A $7.5, $6, an $8 is like $7, and an $8.5 is $8.40. So I came out ahead on that one. The Sergeant Fury one here. Probably like a 7 to an 8, somewhere in there. So like anywhere between a $6 to $10 book. Not bad. on the raw side. And then the Adventure Comics book right here, I'm going to call this one like a 6.5 to a 7. And, you know, hey, $13 to $17 if it falls within that range, I'd say that's a decent pickup. This doesn't sound like, you know, major money making opportunity here, but when you add it all up, if I was to sell all these and they were to sell, then, you know, I'd be looking at a nice little small payday. So it'd be kind of cool. But again, these will stay in the collection for now. We'll figure out what I'm going to do with all this stuff as time goes on. And that's really it, guys. I mean, you know, hey, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, you know, I got more and more videos like this in, you know, within the archives here. And, you know, go check out your local comic shop if you're interested in comic books, and see if they have these kind of long boxes with these $3 type price tags for everything that's in the box, and go through them, spend some time. You never know what you're going to find. You know, these could be things that you might find that down the road, a while from now, could end up appreciating, not depreciating. So, you know, just a little bit of advice for people out there who might be interested. And that's all I've got for you guys today. If you're new here, like to see and hear, please hit the subscribe button. Please comment down below. Please share this video with everybody out there in the card community and the comic book community as well. Remember to give this video a thumbs up, a like. And that's all I've got for you guys today. Until next time, folks, this is John Sports Collectible signing off, and I'll see everybody very soon. Take care.